uncle dealing with all of the ignorance. But in the Bible and still talking about the Bible, what is the benefit? Everything about you counterfeit, there ain't no rebuttal you can counter with. On the internet, you the master teacher, in real life, you powerless. Keep it real with you, I don't have time for this, I ride for this, my forefathers died for this. They cry for this opportunity, presently I possess, and right now you are the opposite. If you walk in love, you fulfill the law, don't get involved and you ain't giving it all. If you ever think it's cool to threaten another man's family, then you already lost. Chemtrails got aluminum, heavy metal saturate the atmosphere. Manhattan Project, time travel, Mandela effect, what happened here? GMO food processing to the whole world become obsolete. A black man who believe in Jesus, got my own team taking shots at me. You trespassing on property that you don't fully understand properly. All the back and forth, that's not for me, that's for ROC and the War Machine. If we ride together, then we ride together. If we can't do it, I'd rather leave. I still stand on the word of God till the day I die and no longer breathe. We trapped inside the diaspora, nightmares of the massacre. Cold sweat, I'm below deck in the middle passage, just a passenger. Revolutionary hardcore, liberation, that's a hard job. You ain't ready, you a oddball, keep your mouth closed like lockjaw. I learned trying to bring people together on the same page, make them separate. All the talk about reconciliation, when the time come, you hesitate. If Jesus was able to sit at the table with a bunch of sinners, you very fake. Your steps ordered by the Lord, and how it was yesterday, your big mistake. We the city sitting on the hill, guess it all depends on how you live. Guess it all depends on how you feel, and we both know that ain't God's will. I stood on what I felt was right, I don't never question if God's real. Trapped inside this matrix, I'm about to pop the red and the blue pill.
Bless them which persecute you, bless and curse not. Rejoice with them that do rejoice, and weep with them that weep. Be of the same mind one toward another. Mind not high things, but condescend to men of low estate. Be not wise in your own conceits. Recompense to no man evil for evil. Provide things honest in the sight of all men. If it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, said the Lord. Therefore, if thine enemy hunger, feed him. If he thirst, give him drink. For in so doing thou shalt heap coals of fire on his head. Be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with good. Romans 12:14-21.
Peace, peace, peace. What it is your brother Tyvon Swaino, a.k.a. the Orthodox Moor, a.k.a. the Seven Pillar Saracen, a.k.a. Brother Moore, coming at you again this morning. And I wanted to touch on this topic about Dante having the Natufian DNA. I've been late to the game on this one, family, being able to address it because of my computer issues and whatnot. But I've been wanting to address this one for a hot second because I have a confession to make. I'm the brother who was going around telling everyone that Dante, in fact, including Dante, that he has E1B1B DNA. And as you can see in the title of this video, I'm kind of addressing this to G-Kon because I actually went to G-Kon weeks ago on Clubhouse, maybe even over a month and change ago, and let him know that Dante was E1B1B. And even on Clubhouse, G-Kon was like, nah, bruh, he's E1B1A, he's E1B1A. And I tried to tell him, like, no, I know for a fact he's E1B1B because I've seen his DNA. And I reached out to Dante and let him know what was up because I watched his DNA videos and JedMatch and whatnot. And I went through his 23andMe part and I saw something in the 23andMe that was familiar to me. It was familiar to me because I've done 23andMe for my mother's brother. And we found out that my mother's father, through her brother, was in fact EM34, which is also the derivative of the Natufian DNA. So I knew what I was looking at when I saw it, and I was like, "Oh snap, Dante's E1B1B." So I double checked the EL29. I was like, "Oh wow, he's a subclade of EM84, which is a subclade of EM34." I was like, "Okay, that's what's up. Like, that's what's up." And I'm gonna get into that one later, family, about the EM84 part, right? But But yeah, after I found out I got a Dante, me and Dante started talking about DNA. He sent me his Jed match information. We got to go back and forth on Jed match because out of every, like, I look at everybody's Jed match in the Israelite community and whatnot, right? Like, I do a lot of compare and contrast for people behind the scenes and whatnot. I help people find out, map out their migration patterns, all kind of stuff and whatnot, right? And his is a really, really interesting one. And we will get into that on a whole nother set of videos. But yes, just to be clear, Dante is in fact E1B1B, and he does have a derivative of the Natufian marker. And the Natufians were the base population or the original population of the Middle East, etc., and the Levant, etc., whatnot, right? Again, a lot of people consider them to be the proto-Semitic people, etc. So I'm going to play a video here, and you know what? I'm just thinking about this now. Boo, my apologies. I did not ask you beforehand if I have permission to play this video. But being that my video clip, like typically we always let each other play each other's stuff. So my video is also in this clip. So if you got an issue with me playing this, Boo, let me know. And we can deal with that. You know what I'm saying? However, I wanted people to see this so they can understand what I'm talking about. So I'm going to mute out and I'm going to play this video. This is apparently this is a repost because the video was taken down from Barin's channel and whatnot, which I think is ironic because Barin won't let me on his channel, but he'll let people play my videos on his channel, which is funny. But you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Abu, shout out to G-Kon, and shout out to Barin for this convo. And I believe Second Exodus was on there, if I'm not mistaken. Shout out to Second Exodus, you know what I'm saying? Dropping info and whatnot. But yeah, I'm gonna play parts of this conversation, and I'm gonna comment on it and show some stuff afterward. But yeah, beforehand, I just wanted to make the confession that yeah, I'm the one that was out there pushing the fact that Dante was E1B1B, and again, there's many reasons why I'm pushing it, because again, this is a headshot for a lot of the arguments coming at the Israelite community and whatnot. People need to be made aware of this. His DNA also, when you understand the particulars of his DNA, because he doesn't just have a derivative of EM84 or EM34. He has a particularly Yemenite derivative thereof, right? And so when you understand that, and also the fact that he has his Jed match says that his number one match is Limba, then there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of conversations that got to get slowed down now based upon this, right? There's a lot of large conversations we got to have now. So yeah, I'm full confession, full disclosure. I was the one pushing that info, including to Dante. And there's a lot of reasons why I'm doing it. Again, just to slow the thing down and so we can get clear conversations. Because again, there's a lot of implications with Dante having this haplogroup. Because what's heavy about this is the fact that Dante does not have the European DNA of the people who have this haplogroup, right? So he didn't get this from like a slave master. That's not how this one happened. He didn't get this one from somebody who wasn't from the slave trade. You feel me? So with that, I'm going to go on mute, and I'm about to play this right quick. Let's enjoy, fam.
They still got their things. They still been dealing with. They come before Israel even existed as a people. They was there. His brother is. Do you know that what's called was E1B1A? Do you know? Do y'all know that what's his name? Ramses III was E1B1A. He's not Semitic at all. You know what I'm saying? This is just pure foolishness that this brother is talking about. We can look at the E1B1A people today, and then when you look at E1B1B, they don't look like us. These people they don't look nothing like us. They look like Albert Einstein and all these other people. The Natufians ain't looking like Dante Fortson. You know what I'm saying?
All right, so, Second Exodus. All right, go ahead. Hold on. Now I want to respond to that Second Exodus.
Yes.
Berean asked the brother,
yes.
Yo, hold on. Mark, I want to make sure you should ask this brother right here. Second Exodus is talking, right? Berean, ask the brother who just spoke. Did he know that blacks in America were not? Yeah, a lot of people say that does not 400 years. Some people say it's only 200 and change. How can y'all? Where y'all coming from with that? I've heard that multiple believers ask that. How y'all get to that 400 and that E1? And you could address what G-Kon's saying about that whole thing is being used wrong. A lot of people have been telling me that, but they haven't been according to. Let me see. Hold on. Let me read that. You see the screen? According to Abu, E1B. Abu, jump on here. E1B1B.
Yeah.
Check his channel. Give me that.
Yeah,
put that link in here, Baru.
I would love to address it.
Go ahead. Yeah, you got the floor.
I would love to address that.
You got the floor. Yeah,
now,
go ahead.
In 1619, let's start here. There was a Portuguese slave ship known as João Bautista, which is John the Baptist.
I'm gonna fast forward this just a little bit, and get to the part where they start talking specifically about the DNA, because Second Exodus goes in on a lot of stuff right quick. And so let me fast forward this here.
Something before because they say that Abu would say something different from you in this video right here, G-Kon. It's on. Let me see if I could pull this up here.
If anybody wants to, they can also pull up Natufians.
Let me bring the scripture out real quick for you. Let me bring the scripture out real quick for you. It says, "I will bring a nation upon you from afar, O house of Israel, said the Lord. It is a mighty nation. It is an ancient nation, a nation whose language thou knowest not." So in this section, Jeremiah 5 and 15.
E-L29. We're gonna talk about that. So this is where I take issue with people that say like they just stick with the J1 concept, because I'll debate anybody. Like I can make an equal argument for J1, R1B, and E. All day. I can make an equal argument for all three of them. They gotta get ruled out of this junction.
I heard something third hand. I didn't see it directly, but again, third hand, emphasis on third hand, so I could be wrong here. But I heard that Dante's haplogroup is E1B1B.
Yes, sir.
That's interesting because that
I would be the second hand on that, putting that out everywhere at this junction, because I keep trying to tell people that's a kill shot for people who keep trying to make this J1 argument.
Well, E1B1B has a very strong case as well. I don't think J is plausible. I think J is, because J is found so widespread amongst. Now, this doesn't prove that J is Jacob's haplogroup, but it is interesting how widespread it is amongst different Semitic groups. But the thing is, once you go down that road, E1B1B is also like everywhere as well. It's amongst everything from Semitic Ethiopians. I mean, by Semitic I mean Ethiopians who speak Semitic languages, Arabs, even Ashkenazi Jews. For it to be that widespread, it seems to imply that it's been amongst Semitic populations since antiquity, and so that's fascinating because
even the Cochin Jews have the E1B1B.
Fascinating.
So wait a minute. This can't be so. So wait a minute, G-Kon. I got to keep going, Abu? G-Kon. So wait a minute. So what he's saying? Dante DNA.
Dante is not E1B1. No, Dante is not E1B1B. I have his actual. Dante is E1B1A. I don't know where they got that from. Dante, is he? I mean, I can pull it up. Dante showed his DNA, and it was E1B1A. I don't know why they said E1B1B. I don't know where they got that from.
Hold on, I gotta go. Hold on a minute. Hold on. Let me just go back a minute on here on this here.
Interesting how widespread it is amongst different Semitic groups. But the thing is, once you go down that road, E1B1B is also like everywhere as well. It's amongst everything from Semitic Ethiopians.
All right, so this video, so they got it wrong. That what you saying?
Yeah, when they say E1B1B, Dante Fortson is E1B1A. I'm going to pull it up, matter of fact, because I screenshotted it. Dante has no markers that trace back to the Levant area. Not at all. You know what I'm saying? He has no markers to trace back to that, no migrational markers. I even circled it and showed it. And he's everywhere but from this area right here. That's impossible.
Read Abu. Let me say Abu. Read the screen. Second exit, I don't know, G-Kon driver, read this screen. Is the boo talking crazy or not right now on the screen?
It says Dante is closely related paternally to some Natufians. His haplogroup is EL29, a subclad of E1B1B. That's correct.
Hey, I'm finna pull it up right now.
Natufians. Natufians are the first the Natufians are the first Semitic people recorded from the Judean Natuf Mountains, and their migration pattern started down into Northeast Africa. E1B1B is a sister clade of E1B1. E1B1 became E1B1A. You see, it's only a parent. So E1B1 was a Natufian haplotype group, and E1B1B was also present with the Natufians. E1B1 became E1B1A. And E1B1A migrated throughout from Northeast Africa down into West Central Africa.
The 16-second mark? Is it you sure you want the 16-second mark? All right, good. I don't know if he write the 16-second.
So,
all right,
so basically what they're saying is that
all right, no, I'm trying to see what G-Kon talking about here. Go ahead, I'm sorry, go ahead. G-Kon, you there? 16-second, this is it right here.
Pull it up right now, because I got it. Go ahead. Pull it up.
All right, anybody else while she's doing this, and then I'm going, I gotta catch that gas station across the street. I'm going down right across that highway.
Watch this. Now watch this. I'm gonna pull this up, some stuff up. Cause see what he tried to do is he tried to play with Jet Match and thought he was doing something. But I'm gonna show
this is a boo. This ain't Don, or you saying that a boo? All right, come on. So you saying Dante fooled the boo in them now?
Yeah, I don't think that the boo actually seen Dante Fortson what's coming, because I got a picture of because he posted it. I'm saying
boo, I'm giving hit you a messenger.
Yeah, because I'm for the post it because I got it, because we was all talking about it basically. Hold on for a minute.
Well, can I speaking of Jet Match, you can also go to Punt or Ethiohelix calculator, because I also pulled that up. And I want you all to take a look. For those who've done Jet Match, you can go to the Reuters article, and it talks about North African Jew lineage. Those North African Jews have been admixed from Sephardic Jews during the expulsion in 1492. If you have in your secondary population, if you have Morocco, Libya, Tunisia, and Algeria in your DNA, then you are related to the Sephardic Jews from North Africa. I personally have Berbers, Mozambique, Egyptian, Ethiopian Jews, North African Jews, Algerian, Morocco Jews, North and South, Tunisia. And so it has nothing to do with what you look like. You want to follow the genetic markers and see exactly who you match up with.
All right, hold on.
Ethiohelix, you can look at Ethiohelix calculator, and you can match up with those populations. If you match up, then you have North African Jewish ancestry.
All right, here, hold on a second. Come on, do me a favor. Just explain it right now. Just explain it right now for me. Oh, Dante is in there. Go ahead, Boo.
Forgive me, I won't be on long. I have to jump off very soon. I'm with
family. I'm going to.
But yeah, no, it wasn't. I myself am skeptical of a lot of the appeals to Jed Match, but this was not based on Jed Match. It was based on what he showed from 23andMe. And this isn't a general appeal to just like the E haplogroup like some people do. His haplogroup, according to 23andMe, is EL29, and that's a subclade of E1B1B, and more specifically, it's a subclade of EM34. So, which is a more specific, it's something that was found amongst at least 2 of the Natufian samples. That's all. So it is fair to say that at least Dante, I'm not saying this about everybody, at least Dante is closely related, relatively closely related paternally to at
To
least
the brown skin people. To the brown skin people.
Well, I don't know what they look like. They might have looked exactly like him, or maybe they look different. But as Second Exodus said, it's not so much an issue of morphology. It's a question of lineage. You know, so I would also say, you know, Dante is closely related, perhaps, to Albert Einstein, you know, as well. So,
oh hell!
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Right now.
So I can't stay on long, but I just wanted to clarify that since you gave me the opportunity.
All right. Thank you. All right. No matter of fact, hold on one second. G-Kon, do you got anything problem with what he said?
No, I'm trying to find it because I got a picture of
it. You still trying to find it, but you keep talking about he a Hamite.
I'm trying to find it because I made
that Hamite DNA yes or no? Is that Hamite DNA yes or no? Because
I don't look. I want to say this real clear. I don't accuse anyone of being a Hamite. I have no idea who Ham or Shem, what their haplogroup was, so I don't accuse anyone of being a Hamite, and I don't think you can determine that based on morphology. I mean, there could be Hamites who are quote unquote black, and there could be Hamites today who are quote unquote white in terms of their appearance. I don't accuse anyone of being a Hamite or a Semite or anything. I'm just saying that if we're going by paternal lineage, paternally he is more closely related to the Natufians than a lot of other people who might be you know, in the chat today. That's all I'm saying.
Wow.
And he also can't he also can't be Ham for the record for the majority part, because if you look at some of these brothers, they came up out of the Mesopotamia before they came into these areas that we see today. So E can be Ham. So when they telling you the E is just Semitic, that's a lie. You know what I'm saying? E can be Ham also too. You know what I'm saying? But that's not how do you say it? Because when these so you got somebody got a bad echo, something going on in the back. I don't know who that is. Yeah, so but yeah, I'm gonna pull it up. But yeah, E also can be. That's why I keep telling there is no. So when you say there's a Semitic marker or there's a Jew marker, that's not really that. That's not really what that's talking about. You know what I'm saying? These are different haplogroups we see that migrate to different areas. Whether if they was, because if you look at Canaanites, which come from what's called, they have markers that we see that can be E also too and J too. So these are Hamitic speaking people according to the biblical text. I mean, Hamite people according to the biblical text. So E can be Hamitic. You know what I'm saying? So let's not get it twisted and say that that's not the case, but that is the case. So I'm just showing you that. I'm going to go and show you that E1B1A are most of these people that we see are Hamitic people. You know what I'm saying? Then we see E1B1, that could be Hamitic people just as well as Semitic people speaking too. You know what I'm saying?
All right, hold on. Come on, boy. I know you got to get out of here.
Yeah, I got to run, but I'll say this. First, I'm very skeptical of assigning two different macro haplogroups to, you know, like a single son of Noah. So I wouldn't say that there are, you know, Hamites who are both J and E. Second, I would say that while I don't claim to know the haplogroup of Ham or Shem or any of them, I do think that likely Ham, Shem, and Japhet had the same haplogroup. So, you know, if Shem was J, then I would assume Ham was J and vice versa. But that's a much more complex subject. And that begs a lot of questions that came up when Donla was on.
With the location,
a lot of people want me to talk
being local and all of that stuff.
I'll say this. I know Yeshub is somewhat angry at me. I think I would recommend Yeshub's videos. I don't agree with him on everything, but I think for people who hold to a global flood, he makes an interesting case. And
that's the brother. That's the Genesis 49 dudes that be making the video.
Yeah, yeah, Genesis 49ers. He makes a lot of interesting videos. I'm not endorsing everything, and he's not a fan of me, but I think personally he does a lot of interesting work. You know, so I recommend his stuff. But putting all that aside, this wasn't an argument about E1E in general. It was more specifically Dante's haplogroup. Not everybody. Dante is E1B1B. It's a subclade of E1B1B and a subclade of EM34. So to be fair, if we're fair and honest, according to his 23andMe results, he's relatively closely related paternally to the Natufians. To some Natufians. That's all. And forgive me, I got to run.
My goal is not to confuse anybody. I'll make this very simple. There's a big group called haplogroup E. Haplogroup E belonged to the Natufians in Israel. Haplogroup E also had branches called E1B1B and E1B1. E1B1 gave a branch to E1B1A. Haplogroup E from the Natufians are regarded by all scientists, according to the articles we have today, as Proto-Semitic, which means the first Semites. That's all that means. As far as haplogroup I, J, and K, they are known to be associated with Togarma, or the Turkic peoples. The Turkic people claim descent from Togarma. So Togarma is the son of Gomer, and Gomer is the son of Japhet. You can go to Genesis 10, verses 1 through 5 for that reference. So
Hold on,
I didn't want to make this very confusing.
Don't say nothing. Second Exodus, G-Kon, what's the problem here? What do you think the problem is with the understanding?
Right. So what, like for instance, like I think the problem is that they get confused, like Semitic speaking, like are like just because you say somebody's like they say the Canaanites are Semitic, you know what I'm saying? But in reality, you know what I'm saying, they not, you know what I'm saying, they just speak a Semitic language, you know what I'm saying? So they don't, so I think the confusion is we getting all these people actual descendants of Shem, you know what I'm saying? Because when you look at scholastically and what the world is saying, they don't believe in Shem, Ham, and Japheth like that. But we do because we dealing with biblical, you know what I'm saying? We dealing with the biblical text. So I think that's where the confusion is coming in, that because you can see clearly that even these people that is down in this down in what Ethiopia, right? That we see that are these limbas, these Jews, they have J markers. So if they have J markers, then people will have to say, well, is these fellas Caucasians just because these markers come up out of the Caucasus Mountains? You know what I'm saying? But that's not really the case. And so we get confused the language with basic people. They could have migrated from a certain area but still be Hamitic people. You know what I'm saying? Still be people that are Ham, that come from the son of Ham. And I think that's where the confusion is coming in at right there. Is people is twisting the language with basically the descendancy of where people is coming from. That's gotta be what we're dealing with right now, what's happening. Because if you want to say, like, if you got the whole of Africa, which is E1B1A almost, that would be impossible for these people to come from Shem, seeing that this land, this is the land of Ham. And where is the Hamites at? Where these people at? What's their markers? You know what I'm saying? And they'll say A. You know, say this and that, but the whole of Africa is E. And that's what the crazy thing about it, because the majority of Africa is E. Why is that?
All right, that's all right. All right. Anybody else in closing? I don't know, G-Kon. This thing, you could.
Hey, Moore, Shalom. That's easy to answer for G-Kon, but G-Kon is not accepting the answer that's actually there. You know what I'm saying? That's actually the actual scholars and people like yourself and myself, you know what I'm saying, will bring out. He won't accept it.
You can hear him kind of running from it right there, can't you? You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like all of the information that's been brought out from yourself, A9, Yeshua, Dante, like when you put it all together, you know what I'm saying, and you make sense of it, it's about the migration pattern. And then when you look at the lots that was pulled by Shem and by Cam and by Japhet, it ain't what people think it is, right? The lots that was given to Shem, or that Shem chose, it was a tropical land. All of the north of Africa was tropical, bro. All the way to the west. So he wondering why he sees so much E in Africa. Now, if you go to South Africa, that's where you will see the majority of Cam's people, right? That's because that's the land that they were given. That's the land that they basically chose.
Yeah, and
right?
with the model that,
But they ain't making no sense to that. My bad. Go ahead, Mo.
no, you got it. You good.
No, I was just saying they don't never talk about that, and they don't never mention that, because if they mention that and talk about the actual lands that was divided by the brothers, that argument of why is E1 or E so much in Africa, well, it goes hand in hand with the scriptures. That's if you accept in the scriptures that's given to us. If not, then you're gonna have these secular, drawn out arguments that's really ain't gonna lead you nowhere, but to the same place, nowhere.
Yeah, man. So what's interesting about all this is like, so if y'all if you're not familiar with the Yeshub's argument family, Yeshub talks about like the concept of Ham being like the A and B haplogroups in Africa, and that Shem is like the DE haplogroups and whatnot, right? And so when you're hearing G-Kon talking about this E like E can also be Hamitic or whatnot, he's accepting the fact that E can also be Shemitic, right? And so there's like you can see him trying to digest this thing, and he's not fully accepting it. And there's a couple things I wanted to point out. Like one, he says that Dante doesn't look Natufian. I'm about to get into that one real quick. And another thing he said is that almost the whole of Africa is E1B1A, and that's not true. Like, so just within our crew alone, fam, we got people who are R1B. We got people. Yashar's E1B1A. I'm EM33, right? That's a completely different joint off of E. That's even different than anything coming off of EP2. It's a whole different E clad, right? We got Anonymous as EM180, you know what I'm saying? We got Dante that's EM84 or EL29, you know what I'm saying? Like and again, I want to touch on this right quick. When G-Kon was talking about the Lemba DNA, the Buba clan of the Lemba, the priestly clan of the Lemba, also have 3 E haplogroups, not just J. They carry E1B1A, EM40, and they also carry E1B1B. They also carry in the priestly clan. And again, that becomes important to understand because they say they have a Yemenite migration. And like I keep trying to tell, like my man's in the chat, no, Dante does. My man in the chat, Rudy, no, Dante doesn't have an Ashkenazi form of the E1B1B. They don't have that form.
Let's think about this. Let's think about this. All right, go ahead. My bad.
He has a particular clad that's a derivative, like EM84. It's a derivative of EM84, right? Like you heard Abu talking about EM34, right? But when you go farther down, a subclad of EM34 is EM84, and Dante has a subclad of EM84, right? Now that's most prevalent in Yemen, fam. Like, hold on, let me put this up right quick. I want y'all to see this right quick. This is a map of EM84, right? You see it in East Africa. You see it all day in southern Yemen, fam. All day, right? And again, Yemen is where the Middle East and Yemen is where the Lemba are saying they're coming from in their migration and whatnot, right? Now, again, on my channel, I have Lemba tribesmen, Lemba Cohen Hamidishe, saying that there were Lemba on slave ships that went to the Americas. And I can tell you right now, having looking at Dante's Jed match, he has his DNA reflects what it would look like if a Lemba was on a slave ship and came to America and was E1B1B. But yeah, I just wanted to get that off right quick. Yashar, hold on. You got it. Go ahead.
Okay, so what I was going to say was this. Now, remember when we came back from our captivity and our priest, they had the foreign wives and they had the strange children, right? That wasn't of Yahshua, right? And if I'm not mistaken, our high priest told all of them, either get rid of your wives and your children, or you and all of them can go, right? So when you talk about where the break off, where the different haplogroups, as far as these different clades, that leads back to the E or E1B1A, it only makes sense from that standpoint, right? Where you see the seeds of Levi. I'm not sure the nations that he chose. I don't know what they look like. I don't know what the language they spoke or none of that. I can just make sense of what's being spoken of in today's time and compare it back to our history according to our scriptures. And then in between there, we can make sense of it because at the first off, this is my first time really being able to see it this way. So to understand how, we got a different clad here in this group, a different clad here in that group, and they not from our area, so to say, that only makes sense from that standpoint more. Even though I don't have it all in detail and can break it down like y'all, it just makes sense from that standpoint where we have the different class that's related back to the E. I don't know. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, let me break it down like this. So like Yeshua likes to break down like EB break down like a second Exodus was saying like so Yeshua's concept is like the Hebrew haplogroup is EP2, right? And when you understand EP2, it's the parent it can turn into E1B1B or E1B1A. It's the parent of both, right? And it can mutate into both, bottom line, right? Like so again, amongst the dilemma, you can find E1B1A and E1B1B. You feel what I'm saying? And so it can mutate in both directions. And so when you understand that's the family tree, like how it all breaks off and connects back together to the E and whatnot. So does that make sense or no?
Well, see, when you start using titles and names like that of today's time, it loses me. I'm not saying that it'll lose those who are familiar with, because I don't read what Yeshua read, right? So
right.
When he get to talking, that's why I don't really chime in. I'll listen. I'll take my notes. You know what I'm saying? And I'll make sense from where I am in my study of what he's bringing forth. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times it takes time for that information to catch up, for me to catch up with that information. You know what I'm saying? Because I have to. I'm sorry.
Nah, I'll do it like this. I'm gonna put you on mute right quick. So with Abraham, right? He had 3 wives, right? And he had sons by all 3 wives. He had Isaac, he had Ishmael, and then he had like the sons of Keturah, like one of them being like the Midianites, like Midian and whatnot, right? So all 3 of them would have their father's seed, right? But they all chose different women of different groups to go to make their seed with, right? And so based upon who they mixed with and their different environments and whatnot, that would cause them to mutate differently, right? But bottom line is, because of their father's seed type, the way that Yeshua's talking about, it could only mutate into 2 directions, right? It's going to be either E1B1A or E1B1B. However, when they all come back home or whatever, they're all gonna connect back to their grandfather and whatnot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, now that makes sense to me right there more. Now I can understand, like, when you simplify like that, yeah. You know what I'm saying? When you, because see, now that's even going back before this, if I'm not mistaken, that's before Joshua even told the priests to even do what they had to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because Abraham is before 11. So of course that had to be that. So yeah, bro, I can now add that to the story. Now we talking about a bigger scale. You know what I'm saying? As far as our DNA being in different places because of these different people, but not dominant, but there, right? And that's the thing that G-Kon don't never talk. He don't ever distinguish that neither. He'll say, "Oh, we in this place, and we in this particular place." But are we the majority? Are we the ones that where it originated from? Because if not, then you can't be doing that. That's disingenuous, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because as we understand migration pattern, people are going to be everywhere because of that. So if you're not making sense and saying specifically, look, you have a certain percentage of people here, but the majority percentage of people here are from this haplogroup, Now, you know what I'm saying, we can have a honest conversation, but he never comes off like that. Never. It's always about, you know what I'm saying, trying to make it seem like it's one way and that's it.
Yeah, I can't argue with that in a lot of directions because I've had these conversations with G-Kon. Like I said, like I was the one trying to tell G-Kon, like, no, like I know for a fact that Dante's E1B1B because I did the research on it. Like I was the one who told Dante he was E1B1B. He's like, no, he's E1B1A. I was like, okay, but that's why I'm doing this video. I really want to get your opinion on what I'm about to do next, right? Like, so I want to tell, like, so Dante, like, G-Kon said that Dante doesn't look like a Natufian, right? So I've done videos on my DNA and on my parents' DNA and shown like what the people with their DNA look like around the world, right? Like again, like my father's EM33, his mother's haplogroup is L2. My mother's haplogroup is A2G. That's a Native American haplogroup. I did videos showing like where that goes and whatnot. Her father again is EM34, so her father and Dante share a paternal haplogroup, like in history and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Like his haplogroup is a subclade of EM34. So I'm going to show pictures of what people in these areas with this haplogroup look like. I'm not saying everybody I'm showing has EM34 or has the same haplogroup as Dante, but this is one of the phenotypes of the people in these areas that are thick and heavy with this EM34 and Natufian DNA. So yeah, feel free to come off mute in a comment whenever you see something that you want to say something about, and I will give you the
bet. I'm rocking with you.
Stay on mute unless you want to say something. There you go. You got it. Because you got the echo and whatnot. But yeah, man. So yeah. Here we go. Yeah. I'm gonna just do it like this. I'm gonna start at the very beginning. So yeah, this is a presentation I made about my grandfather on my mother's side's haplogroup, right? Because he's again a subclade of EM34/EM123, and so I found that out by doing some genetic testing and finding out that again my mother descends from North African Jews who went through Spain and then came into Mexico and then came into America that way, right? So again, you see where the EM123 is in North Africa. Again, my grandfather comes from those people, right? But you can see where it's thick and heavy in the Middle East. But you see also this other spot to where like it's thick and heavy over in Ethiopia, etc. That's big to understand, big to understand, because percentage wise, the two biggest population groups with this Natufian DNA are one in the Levant and then two in Ethiopia. Those are the two densest populations with this Natufian DNA.
Absolutely. When I look at the oldest migration, where like almost where it started from, that's where they got it. That's where they got it marked from, in that area, from Ethiopia all the way up to the Levant.
Facts. Now watch what they actually say about it from the DNA companies and whatnot, right? Because I'm gonna read you what they gave from my uncle and whatnot, right? So again, he's EM23/EM34 and whatnot, right? This is my uncle and my grandfather. This is what 23andMe gave me. Pete the issue shot, right? Your paternal line traces back to the common ancestor of haplogroup EM123, a man who may have lived in Eastern Africa over 20,000 years ago. At some time during the next 10,000 years, some of his descendants migrated north to the Levant and the Middle East, where the lineage is quite common today. In fact, evidence once suggested that the southern Levant may have been the birthplace of the haplogroup. It was there soon after the Ice Age drew to a close 11,500 years ago that humans first learned to domesticate cereals and livestock and completely transform their way of life. In fact, farming and herding were such successful strategies that populations boomed, sparking waves of migration into Europe and Africa about 8,000 years ago. Some of those men likely bore the EM123 haplogroup, and as they migrated, they introduced not only their technology and culture, but also their paternal lineage. Again, so this is from 23andMe. Today, some of the highest concentrations of men bearing haplogroup EM123 and its diverse branches are found in Eastern Africa, where they make it 5 and 10% of men in parts of Ethiopia, Kenya, and Somalia. Farther east, nearly 10% of men tested in Oman and 8% in Yemen carry that haplogroup. And and to the north, they are found at low frequencies among Egyptians, Algerians, Tunisians, and others. The other great peak of men bearing EM123 is in the southern. They are spread throughout the Middle East and present-day Turkey at frequencies of about 5% and make up about 13% of the male population in Jordan. Though generally rare in Europe, EM123 can be found among men along the Mediterranean Sea, and it is most common in Sicily at 7%, Sardinia at 4%. Even at the far western edge, the lineage found in the Iberian Peninsula, especially among men from Portugal and the Spanish region of Galicia. But yeah, like even 23 saying what you're talking about, brother, man, that there's two pockets. You know what I'm saying? Like you're finding it, like this is the cold part, right? You're finding it thicker again, you're finding it thicker in East Africa, in the Middle East, right? Or like the southern part, like in Yemen and Oman and whatnot, right? Right next to Ethiopia. You're finding it thicker there than what you find in Europe. You find it thicker there than what you find in Turkey, right? We're moving along. They went on to say this year, paternal haplogroup EM34 traces back to a man who lived approximately 20,000 years ago. That's nearly 8,000 generations ago. What happened between then and now, as researchers and citizens and scientists discover more about your haplogroup, new details may be added to the story of your paternal line, etc. There's that. Now this is from Family Tree DNA, right? And again, this is I did my grandfather, my uncle's DNA. Those are the same DNA as my grandfather with the Family Tree. Again, E1B1B there as well. And I'm going to be pulling something out with that and later on a whole nother video that I'm going to be focusing on with Dante and Lemba that I want everyone to pay attention to. But it says this about that about my uncle's DNA and whatnot, right? My grandfather's DNA. From Africa, the first place people migrated was the Middle East. This area has played a crucial role in early human migration history. Ancient hunter-gatherers of the Middle East, known as Natufians, carry the most ancestry from this first group. Natufians might have spoken an early form of an Afro-Asiatic language and over time adopted farming from neighboring groups with whom they intermarried. Little is known about the remote past of Jewish groups, and I'm not going to read that part. That's not even necessary. Let me skip this part. This was all about the Sephardic aspect, which is not necessary for this part of the conversation. I want to just get the Natufian part. But this is, again, I'm going to go through the people who have this DNA in the areas they come from, and like people who certain phenotypes from those areas and whatnot, right? So again, we got Natufians with this DNA, right? At a clip of 40%. Right. Before I go through this, Yashar, anything you want to say so far?
No, I'm getting dressed right now. I'm just listening right now, but I'm a tap in. Yep.
Shalom, Ma. What's good, ain't I? How you living?
Shalom, Ma. Shalom. I see you up here doing this work. I was like, let me jump up here and shoot with my bro for a little bit.
Shooting, you know what it is.
Go ahead and finish. Go ahead and finish.
Is there anything you wanted to say so far?
Yo, I'm gonna let you bring this part out, and then we'll.
Okay, because this part right here, I wanted to address what G-Kon was saying about like Dante doesn't look Natufian.
Yes, sir.
Right? So let's deal with that. Right?
Yep.
So in Jordan, right, 31% of the people of Jordan have this haplogroup, right? And this is a picture of people from Jordan. I got most of these pictures from Dana Marnici. I got a lot of these pictures from other sources and whatnot, but yeah, these are people in Jordan in modern times. Like
Yo, they look like my neighbors. You know what I'm saying? My folks around the corner. Yeah, that's what they look like.
Kinfolk. We have the Amhara people in Ethiopia who have this haplogroup.
That looked like my daughter. Like that looked like my youngest daughter, fam.
Man.
Like, why we having these conversations, bro?
The Amhara, and check this out. I want y'all to see these percentages, right? Because like we saw Jordan, they were carrying at 31%, right? And like in Ethiopia, you're going to see a lot of people with this. A lot of people. with this, right? At a varying percentage, but at 23.5% to 13.5%, we have the hard people with this. We got Libyan Jews carrying this at 17.4%. We got Ethiopian Jews carrying this at almost 14%. We got the Saudi Berbers carrying this at 11.1%. This is what they look like. This is what the people of the Sahara, and other.
This is the description that they speak about of our ancient ancestors when they talk about the wide noses and the fat lips or the big lips. This is documented also in Columbus memoirs and records.
Yep. And I would just like to say this right here is the classic concept of what ruddy looks like.
Right. But you also got different variations. Like you have a mahogany, a deep mahogany color ruddy as well, right? It's
Zadok, what I want to know, what is Zadok doing in Mauritania with a turban?
You know what I'm saying? How Zadok get out there, bro?
Shout out to Young Chimney.
You know what I'm saying?
This is the Kabyle people in North Africa. These are Algerian Berbers or whatnot. They carry this haplogroup. This is what they. This is in North Africa, fam.
And why do so many of us got all of these things in our jet match?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
That's exactly what Second Exodus was saying on that same video. Northern Egyptians, they carry this haplogroup from 10% to almost 5% and whatnot. We already see that they're mixed. You know what I'm saying? We can already see what that is. The Hazara people in Afghanistan carry this joint. Hey, now, did you ever run into anything?
Yeah. What'd you say? You broke up.
Were you deployed in Afghanistan?
All right.
So, did you ever run into the Hazara people?
And you can tell, especially like this little girl right here. There is, especially when you get to a lot of these refugee camps, you see them. But yeah, definitely, I can speak to that ad nauseum. You find a lot of,
but you can also go ahead.
You find a lot of the Mujahideen have them intermingled amongst them, and you can look at this hat that he's wearing, and it kind of break it down for you. But I'll go into that one day too.
Yeah, but so you can also confirm that while you were up there, that you ran into a Muslim people called the Pashtun that were saying that they're Israelites.
Yeah, so you do a Pashtun out there a lot. They say they're Israelites, and they're actually doing Islamic prayers, and really, they attest to the fact that it was like a get down or lay down situation for them.
Mm-hmm.
And so now they are multiple generations in of doing that. And a lot of them, the ones especially that claim to have that Israelite conversation, do look Eritrean or Eritrean. Some look like that, but a lot more look like the people you're showing from Ethiopia, just with straighter hair.
I have a hunch if we were to test them a lot, that we would find a lot of this Natufian.
Yeah, I definitely think so. Especially with like the Pashtun in Kandahar City, a lot in Kandahar City, a lot in Bagram, Loire, a few of those places. When you get more into the mountains, you run into more of the Hazara. And closer you get to Pakistan. But yeah, they all spread and sprinkled throughout there, man. All throughout Afghanistan.
I got a hunch that the Hazara carry this haplogroup because of the Pashtun. The Pashtun probably carried at a higher rate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I would agree. Phenotypically, that's the differences that you see.
Let me go back. I skipped all kind of stuff. There we go. Yeah, we got the Sephardic Jews carrying the 10 and 5% and whatnot. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We got Ashkenazi Jews. Shout out to Albert Einstein carrying us doing the 10%. We got the Walaita people again in Ethiopia carrying us doing 8.3%. This is the Walaita people family.
Bro.
You feel me?
Come on, man. Hey, come on.
You feel me?
What are we doing, bro? Like, I don't even understand. That's a question right now. Go on, bro.
Talking about people don't look Natufian. Like, come on now, fam.
But then only that, how people like G-Kon, we don't look nothing like them Africans. Yeah, okay.
Yo, these are Yemeni people, and I got most of these pictures here from Dana. And the sister on the bottom left is a Yemenite Jew. Know that one. You know what I'm saying? But the Yemenite people carry this from that 8 and 7% and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Like, and this is the top up here. Like, she's from the Hadramaut and whatnot. That's the area that the Limba came through. The Oromo people, again, Ethiopia, fam. 8% to 5%. You know what I'm saying? Go through this again. This is people in Turkey, fam. I want y'all to see this in Turkey, okay? At 8% to 2%, right? I want you to look at the difference in phenotype and the range in phenotype in Turkey. In Turkey. Old girl on the top left is a famous singer from Turkey, right? And these are some old black and white photos from Turkey from back in the day. And these are modern photos from now of a Turkish parade, right? Where we see a blended phenotype. We clearly see Afro-Asiatic looking people amongst like a Mediterranean looking people, European looking people, and whatnot, right? We clearly see the two phenotypes and the blending of it and whatnot. Like modern and like it's still like that, you know what I'm saying? What else I got? We got the Omani people at almost 8% carrying this out. Right there next to Yemen, fam. Right there next to Yemen. Israeli Bedouins carrying this haplogroup of 7%. Again, here's the cold part. We got people in Ethiopia carrying this haplogroup at higher rates than people in Israel. I want y'all to digest that one for a second.
Yo, she got them cheekbones, bro. Like they like to say, oh, the Indian, like the ignorance would say she is an Indian if she wasn't in this attire, if she wasn't dressed like that. Now look at the two braids. She's on a whole different continent, fam. But she rocking the two braids like our ancestors rocked over here. They call indigenous. Make sense of it, fam. All you got to do is make sense. It's right there for us to see it. But if we ain't paying attention to what we need to pay attention to, understanding how we connect, you gonna miss it.
Facts.
Man, bro, my fault. I was talking to my daughter sitting here watching this, and she walked in laughing. Like, is this our family? My oldest daughter walked in looking at these pictures like, is this my family? Is this who we related to?
But Dante don't look at Natufian.
Dante don't look at Natufian.
G-Kon, if you don't stop playing.
Bruh.
The Sicilians got this at 6.5%. Who else I got in here? The Kunama people, again, Eritrea.
And I'm going to go into this Eritrea situation.
Man, look at them beautiful sisters, man. In their natural elements, family. Look at the smiles, the beautiful white teeth. Come on, man, listen, man. We are a beautiful people, man. Everywhere, yo. It's not hard to understand who we are, man. You just gotta we just gotta have eyes to see. You know. Man, thank you more for this, bro. Appreciate you.
Hey, no problem, Mark. All praise the Most High. Let's see who else I got on here. Yo, this is they got this in the United Arab United Arab Emirates, right? And again, I want y'all to see what the range of phenotype is there in the UAE. This is their soccer team. This is modern times, right? I want you to look at this joint, fam. I want you to look at this, fam, at the range of phenotype in the UAE. Them brothers only end up at the top, you know what I'm saying? Like, that look like me right there, I ain't gonna lie. What else I got? Armenians got this.
That was the war machine right there that you just showed. That was the whole war machine.
We got the Afar people in Djibouti with this joint at 4%, fam. Look at this phenotype. This is what the Afar in Djibouti are looking like.
Again, head wraps. Pay attention. You see our women. You see our culture.
I'm tripping too because I'm starting to understand, like, some of the people who I really thought grew up the way we grew up and grew up where we grew up probably didn't. These look like people I see all throughout Richmond, different parts of LA, different parts of North Carolina, Georgia, Florida, New York. I'm just Texas. I can just start naming all these different states I've been in and actually lived in. And I'm like, I can take you to people that look like all of these people that been here since slavery times, who parents and everything connect. And you telling me we don't look like any of these people, bro? Like, it's wild. It's weird to me. It's weird that you want to separate yourself from certain people, but then you say we anti-African. Feel what I'm saying? You want to tell me we anti-African, bro? Like, it's weird.
That's a great point, A9. And it's like, yeah, we started off. Well, I'm gonna keep it real for myself. I started off in an ignorant, you know what I'm saying, in the ignorant way. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, the Africans, man, let me hear that word. Let me hear that title. I'm going in. It took maturity. It took being around brothers that understood. Like, all right, man, once you get past all of that emotion and all that funny stuff, then you can really understand what time it is. So brothers have to, you know what I'm saying, endure my bullshit. Excuse my language, but that's just what it was. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I'm aggressive with it. I'm going to talk my talk and I'm going to say what I feel. But then when I relax and calm down and actually start to look through the information and study and read for myself and not just go off of what people saying, yo, truth corrects you. And that shit hurts sometimes. You know what I'm saying? But for the real ones, it get us straight to where now I can understand when my brothers talk about our relationships, our connections to what we call Africa. It's so solid. It's we got blood there, bro. I'm talking about we got ties to the point where we got growing relationships with our relatives that's in the land that we supposed to be enemies with. When I come to understand this, man, I really have to apologize to all of the Africans that I disrespected in my past because they didn't deserve that. You understand? They didn't have nothing to do with any of that, even if their ancestors did. They trying to learn like me. So to be attacking them on some ignorant shit because of what other people are saying, and I'm not fact checking it, we got to do better than that, family. And it started with me. So I'm telling y'all got to do better if y'all on that same page. Are you?
I pray. Most of that was beautiful, man.
Yeah, it was. And I think once we start bringing this information out more and more and more, the sentiments of Yeshua will be expressed throughout our entire community, right? And we'll be able to show the separations. We'll be able to really show difference of people. But more than anything, we got to start really now, right? We're gonna go through and we're gonna bang out this DNA thing. But the flip side of this is now let's really start to cultivate our culture.
Facts.
Right. This is about building culture. And this is where the conversation really destroys anybody, because then now we start to talk about, well, these people have oral history and culture of being these people.
Facts.
This is the same way you would identify your Ashkenazim or your Sephardim or your Karaite, whatever branch of Judaism or Jewish people that you want to say have a connection. We're doing the same thing.
Who are also on this list, by the way.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
At a clip of 10 to 5%.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And so that's the other thing. You got to be careful about phenotype. Right? You got to be very careful about phenotype of what you say looks like being related to you. I have blood cousins. I'm a chocolate Hebrew, right? I got blood cousins, light skin with red hair. Light skin with red hair, fam. Blood cousins, though. Right? I would love to see that DNA. Matter of fact, I was talking to my wife about that. I would love to see a couple of my cousins' DNA. Because I know it's something that happened when they mixed either with a father or with a mother that was married into the family. Right? So let's see that. Let's see what that looks like. But especially when we start to say phenotypically, some people don't look like that. One, when we show you the phenotypic connection, now you got to stop. Right now that's when that has to stop. But then two, when we really show you the history, and then we get you here in these states and show you the history that was beat out of us, that was literally scorched out of us, but they still couldn't kill our genetic memory to the point that as soon as we started to see that it was okay again to start to come back to this, you can't stop us now. You can't hold us back. You can't stop us from identifying as these people. All of that is what we're going to take and paint a broad, beautiful picture that dwindles down and gives you specifics, right? You start macro and you go micro. That's why what Moore is doing right now is so incredible to see this. You know, a picture's worth 1,000 words. So I appreciate it. And you already know we're ready to shoot. Like, we got all this on deck. We could just run through Jet Match right now and shut this down if we really wanted to.
Ooh, I'm glad you said Jet Match, because this is what people need to understand, and why this is important to understand how it links with Jet Match, right? Because a lot of us, when we do our DNA, we see, like, most of us who are claiming to be Israel, we have this East African DNA set that a lot of people don't have, right? Even me, right? Being mixed, I have a higher clip from than the average person has. You know what I'm saying? I got DNA coming from Somalia, you know what I'm saying, Eritrea and Ethiopia, where people don't have it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we got to understand why is it that we have this Ethiopian East African connection? Where is that coming from? Why is that there? And when you understand that the Natufians existed in two major pockets, one in the Levant, one in Ethiopia, overlapping into Eritrea, overlapping into Somalia, overlapping into Kenya. Oh, okay, it makes sense now. Particularly when you understand our East African. And when it comes to phenotype, I want to point something out. Like, I pointed out the Zachary brother talking about, like, he looked like the classic concept of ruddy. There's something I want to talk about when people start talking about, like, white as a white phenotype in terms of what the Semitic and Arabian concepts were back in the day, right? First and foremost, the term, when people were being called white in Semitic cultures and whatnot, it was a figurative concept, right? That had to do with nobility and other things and whatnot. But if it ever had to do with phenotype, it meant this sister's kind of skin right here, bright and shiny. And there's multiple sources. And I want to get Dana on to talk about this specifically. She's talked about it a little bit in previous interview I've had. And if I had it queued up, I'd play it right now. But again, this is what in a Semitic concept, what white skin looks like. So Reddy was the first brother. And this is what white skin looks like in Semitic concept. Just to understand that concept, fam. So when the Limba are saying we are the white men, we came to Senna, right? They're not saying that they were Caucasian, fam. They're saying they look like this sister right here. Again, and this sister's in Djibouti, right next to Somalia, in the same area we're talking, right across the water from Yemen.
Right. And y'all gonna stop playing with this Yemen. Like I mean, look, bro. When I tell you, when I started to really get into my personal DNA and me and Moore started having these conversations, it just became clear. Like, you not getting away from that, bro. Like, when you seeing, you can look through my DNA, Moore's DNA, you're seeing Yemen, Libya, Ethiopian Jew, all of it in our DNA. Mm-hmm. All of it. And it doesn't matter where you go. It doesn't matter which what am I trying to say? Which DNA company you're using or whatever you're using, at some point in time when you start to break it down, you start to see that connection. So yeah, you know, there's one person that wants to keep saying, y'all these dirty Arab mutts. Thank you for that compliment.
You Arab Jew.
You Arab Jew. Thank you for finally admitting who I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, appreciate you. Thank you very much. Yes, and that's what my ancestors say we come from. That's what my DNA says I come from. And so you want to tell me that you Native American or Aborigine? I applaud you for that. Give me mine, though. And mine is backed up by science. Yours is you trying to link up to a name. That's where you get them problems. Mine is backed up by science, bro. Mm-hmm. To the point now, we beating these dudes up so bad more what they saying now. I thought Hebrews I thought it was about faith. Why are you trying to use the Bible or why are you trying to use science and the DNA now?
Because y'all asked us to.
Y'all forced us to, bro. Y'all kept saying
forced, they begged us, like, no, y'all gotta prove it. Prove with the bloodline. Right. Oh, word? Okay.
Right. Now your worst fears is coming to light. And you don't know what to do.
Yeah, because here's the cold part, right? Because like if you're looking at the numbers, Sam, did you notice that the majority of the people that I've shown so far have been in Eastern Africa?
Yes, sir.
Southern Arabia. Majority of the people.
Yes, sir.
So something that you're hearing me talk about, hearing Dana Marnichi talk about is like the migration that came from Ethiopia, Southern Arabia into Africa was bigger than the migration that came in from the Levant.
It has to be bigger. Because you got to think where they would have ran down into. Right? It got to a point where it wasn't even smart to run in through Egypt anymore.
Facts.
Right? It's not even advisable the later you get in history to even run in that way. So what are they doing now? They're coming in through Saudi Arabia, through Yemen. Like, look at the Limba story.
Exactly.
Right? Look at the Limba story. And then even before that, we have this elephantine situation that's going on. Like, it's horrible. Like, it's poor history, it's poor science, it's poor logic. It's just, nah, y'all gotta be these, y'all just trying to usurp and take people. No, we're not doing none of that, bro. We showing you who we are and you don't like it.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I might have to go pull up another one I did. This is the Italians. Let me run through this. These are the Berbers of Marrakesh, Morocco, Siwa, Egypt, and the Mozabites of Algeria that carried this out. These are all those people. Yeah. They're all those people.
Look at the different phenotype.
Hold on, I want to go back.
Look at the different phenotype.
Do y'all understand this is in Egypt?
Like, come on, fam. What we doing, bro?
Hold up. Not just the different phenotypes, but right, the different ruddy complexions.
Right.
So in the bottom far right, you have what? Damn near look like the damn dust that she's walking on, right? I can say that. Then about the brothers that's right next to her. Skin tone darker than mine.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Got the beard and everything. White teeth just like, man, stop playing, bro. Then we got the family that's up top. Right here. Everybody. Man, y'all playing, man. G-Kon, stop with the ignorance, brother.
This one's Egypt. This one's Algeria, fam. Again, this is North Africa. This one right here, the darkest ones is in North Africa. You did?
And this is how I know people never been to Yemen. This is how I know you never been to Yemen, bro.
Fact.
I've been boots on the ground in Yemen. Number one, do not play around in Yemen. All right, let's just get that clear. But yeah, you're not just these not just these pale skinned Arabs, as people like to say, but even those people are even related to the darker skinned people.
Right.
Like, y'all, hey, look, bro, it's the more this information come out, the worse it's gonna look. And I'm just sitting back laughing because you know I'm loading clips. I'm sitting back laughing and waiting.
So these two pictures are from
The
C1 Egypt,
information
right?
is my bad. The information is separating the ignorance from those who actually seeking this truth.
Facts.
You understand? My bad, more.
No, you good. You good. I'm just saying these two pictures came from C1 Egypt. This one's from Algeria. This is from Marrakesh, Morocco, fam. That's all I got. This is all North Africa, fam. All of it.
And people don't know because they're not seeing on the map. You know what I'm saying? So it may not click with some people. But when you understand that, the point is this: we really have been spread out, and y'all gonna start to see DNA is gonna be probably the best tool, the first tool that we can use scientific wise, along with cultural anthropology, to really start to put this in and paint a picture for you. And even those who may be genetically related but have converted to something else through years and years of forced migration, even that conversation has now started to be had. Because you're watching it happen. You're watching, quote unquote, Sunday Christians, Israelites, and Muslims now start to be able to come together and have conversations, which is what they never wanted to see happen.
So one of those pictures came from Marrakesh, which is over. Hold on. Can you see my arrow? No.
Yeah, we see it.
Okay, it came from Marrakesh, Morocco. The other one came from Algeria, and the other one came from Egypt. Just understand it. It came from here.
That's all Northern Africa, just so y'all know.
All of it. All of it. How many got left? Let's see what I got left. I got Sardinians who got it. Let's see what else I got. Palestinians, Greeks, Southern Egyptians, right? At 2.1% care. This is what they look like in Southern Egypt. Yo. Anyway.
I know everybody got cousins that look like these people. Bro. Like yeah, man, I know you do. Like, I ain't even gotta ask. I know you got a cousin or two that look like some of these people.
Let me tell you, bro. If you go back to that last picture, right? That last picture, I got a little cousin. Her name is Janae. Right. Light skin is all outdoors. Talking about light skin, bro. Look like my grandma. Now, my grandma, she got the wide nose, big lips. But for real, back in the day, she could pass as low-key as if she was white. You understand? They would give her that privilege because of her skin tone and how she carried herself. So fast forward to her grandbaby and her great-great-grandbabies, right? Now, she just had a daughter, and her son. When I say her son looked like this brother right here, with the forehead, with the thing around his neck, yeah, look just like.
Man, that's what I was gonna say, bro. I got a cousin look just like that, man.
Man, come on, man. This is crazy, G-Kon. You tripping, bro. You tripping. I bet if we look into your family line, we can point out people that look just like all of these pictures that we just showed. But for some reason, you in denial because of us, Israelites. It's crazy, bro. You hell bent on us, man.
That's all right. You ain't got no information.
Hey, hold on. Mute your mic, yo.
Mute your mic, boy.
But nah, G-Kon, we got for real, bro. Like, so I'm talking to you as a former member of the War Machine, bro. We gotta do better on this one, fam. Like, the majority of people who have this haplogroup, look Afro-Asiatic. The vast majority of people who have this haplogroup look Afro-Asiatic. We got to admit that, fam. We got to admit that. Let me see what else I got in here right quick. I got Missouri, Corsicans, Asturians. I think that might be it. No, I got the Saho people in Ethiopia. Yeah, I think the last one on the list.
And I love this because then the other comment is going to be, well, they only send 1% or 2%. And this is only one haplogroup, sir or ma'am, who says that. So,
right.
So understand, like, this is an amalgamation that we are going to start putting together for you that you will not be able to deny. And we can tell that it's starting to have an effect because the scrambling that I've been watching going on is hilarious. Y'all looking like roaches when the lights get cut on right now, bro. And it's hilarious to me. I'm watching the scramble. I'm watching it. I'm watching you trying to circle the wagons. You trying to call people in. You bringing a boo on, hoping that he gonna agree with you in the boo. Like, no, I'm just telling you. I seen his haplogroup. That's all he's saying. Like, that's it. No, I'm just telling you. From his haplogroup, scientifically, this is gonna be E1B. I'm sorry, E1B1B. I'm sorry, bro. Like, I don't know what you want me to tell you.
And if y'all keep playing games, like when I say something that ain't true, but when a boo says it is true, and I'm the one who told a boo, like, we're gonna have problems, fam.
And I don't know what y'all gonna do when we start to give y'all them Voltron streams.
Cause like a boo's being like, he's like, you know what? He's like, you should go check out more stuff. You should go check out your shoe stuff. You should go check out what the A9 stuff. You should, you know what I'm saying? Like he's telling you, like, no, I'm listening to their stuff. You should go listen to it too.
Right.
If y'all don't stop playing.
Because now we're moving into the, to the real science. And it's a few brothers that are saying, well, what do the Natufian? First off, according to you, I shouldn't even have no Natufian in me, according to what y'all saying. Right. Number two, like that, I mean, that's what they're saying. Number two, you either haven't read the information or you a bold-faced dog liar if you say that the Natufians are not the progenitors of many of these Canaanite people and all of these people in the Levant. And then I just heard the dude say that the Canaanites are not Semitic. I just heard G-Kon say that, right?
He said they're Semitic-speaking people, but not Semitic, that they're Hamitic.
I'm gonna choke all this out, bro. I'm just like, because in 1 second you'll argue. The argument is that Semitic is only a language group, and then when it's convenient and it suits you, oh no, well you're Hamitic, but you only speak Semitic. But then you'll say that these people aren't Semitic or that they never spoke Semitic languages. Like, bro, which one is it? We beating you up that bad that you got to flip flop and gish gallop all over the place? That's what I'm gonna start calling y'all, the gish gallopers, bro. You just gish gallop away all through the conversation.
I'm gonna start bringing out everybody's DNA though. That's what, like, so here's the cold part. Like, so so here's what G-Kon got to explain. G-Kon, why do you have like 4 or 6? I forgot what it was, but I think you got like you're north of 4% Natufian DNA in Jet Match. I need to understand why. You should be 0%. Like you've put your, like we've compared, like you showed me your Jet Match live on air. Like you put your number out there for everybody to see. Like, why do you have Natufian DNA? Why is mine at 17%?
Right.
Why does Dante have Natufian? Why does Anonymous have Natufian DNA?
Right.
Why does Yehukanan have Natufian DNA?
And that's another good one. I mean, me and Yehukanan really shouldn't have. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you look at that, all of us.
4 different haplogroups. Yeah, you got R1, E1, EM180, EM33. You know what I'm saying? You got E1B1B, right? You got the EL29. You know, all of it. Why do all of it? Why does Abu have Natufian DNA?
Facts, bro.
He's armed 269. Like, we got to have these conversations, fam. And again, his father's from is Moroccan and whatnot, North African, right?
Right. Oh, you don't say. So he's Moroccan. What's up, cousin? I'm saying,
exactly. What up? Hey, yo, when you go look at Abu's DNA and my mother's DNA, it's identical, bro. Like Abu could be my uncle, bro.
That's crazy.
Like he was laughing because it was like like y'all need to go watch that video, fam. Like he could literally, like Abu could be my uncle, fam. And Abu was coming up, man. Abu was coming up Ethiopian and Ethiopian Jewish and Ethio-Helix.
See.
So we had to have a little convo, you know what I'm saying? He was like, you know what, you're destroying all my silent assumptions. I was like, hey, I'm just taking the info.
Just giving it to you, bro. I'm just giving it to you. Right.
Dead match is serious, but so is the haplogroup thing, fam. Like, so just understand.
Right.
Because check this out. Your man's RM269 and still got Natufian markers.
Right. What am I like? I'm at EM180. I'm at 5.79%, I think, something like that.
How dare you have Natufian, sir?
How dare you have it? What's wrong with you?
Like again, my grandfather, like my uncle has this haplogroup. He's at 30%, 31%, right?
See what I'm saying, bro?
So, yeah, fam.
Yeah, it's kind of ugly, bro. We really to the point where we need to sit down and have this conversation and really put this thing together. And notice, like, we're not coming in hating on any other group. We just talking about our group at this point. See, that's the other thing we got to learn. I don't got to shoot at an Ashkenazi, and I'm talking about proverbially. And let me not even say those two words in the same sentence because people are crazy. I don't even have to talk about
all kind of stuff.
Yeah, but I don't have to talk about the Ashkenazi or the Sephardim unless we're talking about a relationship with it, because all I'm using, like I said, is the same methodology that they used in the first place to come up with what they had, and we're doing the same thing. So don't never get drawn into the point where they want you to move into some weirdness where they can accuse you of being anti-Semitic. I know we don't care. I don't care what they say. I know, I get it. But remember, we're told to be wise, right? For those of us that deal with the New Testament, we're wise as serpents, harmless as doves. But even in the Tanakh, we're taught about how wisdom really works, how to move through this world. We don't got to create a fence. We just go ahead and put out the information and then put our nation together. That's where we at this time now. It's nation building time. And this is one of the biggest ways to build nations is through genetic connection, because now we can build patriarchal and matriarchal lineages to put together and piece together our history.
Fact. Big fact.
Let's go get this, bro. Keep going. Anything else you want to say? Because I'm about to snap on these cats for a second.
Yeah, I'm gonna save what I got. I got some other stuff, some other presentations I'm gonna save for another video. But I'm gonna be getting into the other videos, like of how this affects the Lemba conversation.
Right, and that's kind of what I want to bring out a little. I'm not gonna go deep into it. I'm just gonna say this.
Hey, say what you want to say. You're good.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say this much. Now we're moving to the point where I'm gonna dare y'all to start messing with me, or messing with more, messing with Yeshua. I dare you. Right? Because now we can put together how these people got to where they're saying they got, where they're saying they came from and where they went to. But we can also piece together now culturally what they've been doing and the migratory patterns through genetics, as well as, like I'm saying, cultural anthropology. You start to look at all of these different digs and these various scientists whom we were told that we must give credence to. And now many of these scientists are starting to agree with what we're saying, right? They're starting to agree with what we've been saying. There is no way or no reason that I should have the genetic connections that I'm seeing in my DNA unless I come from these people. Understand that. I should just come up strictly tracing back to these various tribes you say have no genetic connection. It should be a no-brainer for y'all. This should not be this difficult, but instead it is, because we know that there's truth in there. We know that the truth is starting to come out, and the more you squeeze, the more the truth juice is coming out. My advice, if you're a Bible believer and you're doing this, is to get on the right side of this, because it's easier to apologize now off of mistakes than later once everybody puts all of the information together. If you have not figured out, the Most High is using each person in their own special area of expertise. And we all smart enough now to look at each other's work and figure out how to weave it all together, and it all makes perfect sense. So while you still sitting there saying, no, he can't be this, or even going as far as to say, so what they do is they'll hedge. He can't be an Israelite because he's E1B1B, or even if he is because E1B1B, E1B1B is not an Israelite. Oh, well, fine, sir. Same question to you that you asked me. What is the specific genetic haplogroup of an Israelite? Oh, wait. Because the same way that you got to that J marker is the same way that we've arrived to the E marker. And in some ways, much more ancient. I'll say that again. In some ways, much more ancient. When we really start to study certain groups and their migratory patterns and how long they've been in certain places and what their oral history and oral tradition is, it really makes you look foolish to deny what we're saying at this point. So once again, the suggestion is to get right and get your mentality correct, because once, and best believe, you see us doing work publicly, but behind the scenes, we're doing even more work. And once all of that is put together from a scholastic perspective, so then it's really very little you can say about it. All I want to hear is, how can I help? That's it. Because then you're going to prove the scriptures where it says, in the land or in the place where they told you you weren't this people, they're going to find out that you are those people. You're going to have to say that we are these people. You're going to have to say it. Because now many of us are second, third, even some fourth generation Israelites. Some first, though, right? But what we have now is a culture. So even, watch this, even if you wanted to say genetically you aren't those people, you're converts. All right, that's fine. Let's play the game. Let's say we converts. Well, at this point now, even as converts, we've earned the right to say that we are Israelites through the culture that we keep. So there's no more arguments. But it just so happens that we can prove the genetic connection as well. The best thing that you can do is get on the right side of it. Because y'all know, once more starts shooting, Joshua starts shooting, I start shooting, Dante starts shooting, and then all the other brothers come to start shooting, we won't stop. Once we start putting the information out, we're not going to stop. We are loading scholastic clips for this entire argument. And the best thing to do is to get on board with it and know the scriptures are not a myth. No, the scriptures are not a myth. If the scriptures were a myth, we wouldn't be able to prove the Exodus, which we can. If the scriptures were a myth, we wouldn't be able to see all of these various kings from history that line up exactly where the Bible says they were, doing exactly what the Bible says they were doing. So we can stop that. You can say that you don't believe in some of the miracles. That's fine. When we talk about the overall picture of what the Bible is painting, it lines up with history. Deal with it. I'll take anybody to task on that.
Facts. And so real quick, I'm going to close my portion out on this family. Just as a lead into what I'm going to talk about next time. So when I spoke with Cohen, Hamidisha, and I spoke to the prophet, we discussed the concept of multiple migrations coming out of Yemen from the city of Sinai and whatnot. One from a drought and one from a flooding of a breaking of a dam and whatnot. And so what's interesting about that is we see that the Limba went to South Africa and Southeast Africa, etc. And we see that again that they also carry the E1B1B haplogroup and whatnot. But when the other migration went into Africa from Senna, it didn't seem to go into that same place. It went to another part in Africa. And what's interesting is that there's documentation of a Yemenite Himyarite migration going into Mali and going through Central Africa into West Africa, close around the fall of the Himyarite kingdom, like circa 525 AD, etc. And so again, on the right we see Limbako and Hamadisha, the brother I was talking to, and on the left we see a Mande brother in Mali, right? So it's when I had that conversation with Tudor Parfit, he was talking about trying to find connections in West Africa with DNA concerning the Limba and whatnot. Again, their particular E markers, they have EM40. They may have something more specific than EM35, but right now what's on record is EM35, i.e. E1B1B. And they also have E1B1A. And so with the particular subclad that Dante has, with more specific genetic testing, we might be able to find the specific form of E1B1B that the Lemba have. And if in fact in West Africa they have that same Yemenite heavy E1B1B marker, the subclad of EM84. That's going to be very, very interesting to find out going forward in the future, family. But we're running up on an hour and almost 2 hours and whatnot, hour 45 minutes, something like that. I don't want to bore everybody with going through this full. I've given this presentation before on my channel, so I'm going to give it again, but for a different purpose. I'm going the next I'm bringing it up, but again, there is potential migrations going into Southwest Africa, into Central and West Africa from Yemen, from the same people that the Lemba are saying they come from. That plays in very heavy into Dante's DNA and into that whole conversation, because his DNA forces us to actually have to go get further understanding as to what the Lemba DNA is when it comes to the E1B1B. For instance, when you see me go back in my debate and recap my debate with Kevin G about the Lemba DNA, you're going to hear me bring this point up quite a bit in terms of the fact that when they retested the Lemba DNA at the 12 shorthand and repeats, whatnot, they didn't report the E1B1B findings, like as if to see if they found a more specific version of E1B1B or not. And so we actually really need to go back and find out if the Lemba do have a more particular form of the E1B1B besides the EM35. Because if they have Dante's haplogroup, like that's a big deal, fam. A big deal. Because I will say this again: someone who looks at GEDmatch more than everybody in the community. And I look at everybody's stuff. I mean, everybody's stuff. I can tell you right now that Dante's DNA looks like if I was gonna put a Lemba on a slave ship and send him to the East Coast of America, right, and mix him with a whole bunch of West Africans, that's what Dante's DNA would look like. His GEDmatch ladder is climbing like in such dramatic fashion to where like there's obvious mixtures of East and West African. Obvious. I mean, it's super. And when I show you all what to look for, y'all will see it in your own GEDmatches and whatnot. But again, I don't want to bore you. I'm going to get into that going into future videos and whatnot. But I appreciate y'all for your time. Yashar, is there anything you want to say, brother man, before we close out?
Nah, man, I just want to say, man, great information, man. I'm doing my due diligence. You know, I've been reading up on it, you know, checking things out. But when you guys start doing what you're doing like right now, it make me even dig deeper. You know what I'm saying? And then now I start finding even more stuff that I didn't see before. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, just keep on coming with the information, man, so that we can get it together, get on that one accord that we all need to be on. With that being said, man, tanks on the ground. Shalom, love on.
Tanks on the ground.
Shalom, King. Tanks on the ground. You know what it is, more. I said what I had to say, man. Shalom.
Right. Shalom to everybody on the panel. You know what I'm saying? Shalom to everyone in the chat. And I want y'all to do me a favor. If you saw somebody in this presentation that reminded you someone in your own family, just let me know down below. I got a cousin just like my grandfather, my dad, my brother, my sister. I look just like that. Let me know. I would greatly appreciate that. And you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Yashub and the Source Debate League. I want y'all to go check them out. And subscribe to their channels and whatnot, and Genesis 49ers and all that type of stuff. And in honors of them, right quick, I'm about to end on one of the A joints, you know what I'm saying? Because this is some big business right now, you know what I'm saying? Shalom, fam.
Big business.
RSK, let it play, boy. When I tell them I'm an Israelite, it's big business, not miniature. Serving same thing as minister. Kill the flesh, how to finish them. These commandments, they'll sustain you. I'm surrounded by these angels. I ain't worried, I'm protected from seen and unseen dangers. When I tell them I'm an Israelite, it's big business, not miniature. Serving same thing as minister. Kill the flesh, how to finish them. These commandments, they'll sustain you. I'm surrounded by these angels. I ain't worried, I'm protected from seen and unseen dangers. I wake up inside me a prayer, brush my teeth, babe, then I throw on some threads. Wash my face, grab a cup, pour me some yum, put on my backpack, then I'm off to the bread. I eat these devils for breakfast, gotta be careful. Whole lot of blood being shed in the streets. World is so wicked, I weep for the living, I drop a free tear for the dead. All my white friends in my pocket, or either they loading onto this black card that I swipe. Say every time that I drop it, the verses be hitting more harder than problems of life. Rich, I collected 2 pennies from every person that willingly gave me advice. Being afraid can't exist in my spirit. I'm fearing no man but the Father in Christ. I put in work with the brothers. We stood on them corners from 10 to like 9 the same night, teaching our people the gospel, equipped with a camera, some posters of speakers and mic. Every time that I see mama, she telling me, son, you gotta walk in the light. Christ, the bread of heaven, keep feeding my spirit, and I wanna load, not a slide. When I tell them I'm an Israelite, it's big business, not miniature. Serving same thing as minister. Kill the flesh, how to finish them. These commandments, they'll sustain you. I'm surrounded by these angels. I ain't worried, I'm protected from seen and unseen dangers. When I tell them I'm an Israelite, it's big business, not miniature. Serving same thing as minister. Kill the flesh, how to finish them. These commandments, they'll sustain you. I'm surrounded by these angels. I ain't worried, I'm protected from seen and unseen dangers.
When I tell you I'm an Israelite, tribe of Judah, don't you take it personal. Bleed the blood on these demons, we purging them. Don't entertain Jezebels, we be curving them. Ayy, I got a ribbon, she virtuous. In person, this blue life ain't virtual. I can't forget when I heard the truth. I got cut with that word, it got surgical. Conviction can lead to repentance. I pray these verses encourage you. We repented, now we on the vertical. Judah rising, see Isaiah 32. Big business, nothing minuscule. I picked up that pen back in middle school. Guard your light and take heed who you listen to. Watch your mouth and your ears and your vision too. Hashatan and Shalkani won't finish you. In Mortal Kombat, this war is not physical. Gird your loins up and follow the general. Messiah is coming, that's scriptural. You gotta starve your flesh. The real war ain't even started yet. This look like a setup for a second exodus. I'm trying to be where the water at. Let's get it.
When I tell them I'm an Israelite, it's big business, not miniature. Serving same thing as minister. Kill the flesh, how to finish them. These commandments, they'll sustain you. I'm surrounded by these angels. I ain't worried, I'm protected from seen and unseen dangers. When I tell them I'm an Israelite, it's big business, not miniature. Serving same thing as minister. Kill the flesh, how to finish them. These commandments, they'll sustain you. I'm surrounded by these angels. I ain't worried, I'm protected from seen and unseen dangers.
You know it'll be gripped up. You know it'll be clipped up. It's 7 candlesticks up, and I've been telling you niggas, it ain't a debate. It's a stick up. Gang!